Boys, it's time to finally start watching a video that I've been longing for, and it was made by none other than my man Barbuck. Now, in case you're not familiar with this fine individual, he made previously a video about Blizzard that I truly enjoyed, and we actually ended up coming together at the same community, and now we play together from time to time when he's available, you know, not crapping on Blizzard. So today, he finally uploaded a video. It took him some time, but it's about Blizzard Fatal Mistake. So I don't know what it's all about. I never watched it. It just came out hot off the oven. Let's see what he has to say.
So, Turtle WoW gets legally nuked. Blizzard drops a shiny new Classic roadmap, and everyone suddenly starts whispering, Classic Plus is finally happening. And yeah, I think they're right. Blizzard almost certainly is clearing the field for their own Classic Plus. But I also think it's destined to walk the exact same dark path as Retail and Classic did before it. Today I want to talk about why even if Classic Plus is fun and maybe even brilliant at launch, it's probably only a matter of time before the shop, the token, and the same corporate mindset drag it straight into the mud again. And why you should keep your expectations
the
low,
Blizzard
even if
touch. Classic read. Where Turtle has made it to the water. Unfortunately, this one didn't. God bless. He was so close too.
Hey everyone, I'm Barbok, and today we're diving into Blizzard's likely plans for Classic Plus, the shutdown of Turtle WoW, and the pattern that none of us want to see, but all of us kind of already know is coming. Because when you look at the timing, Blizzard winning an injunction against Turtle WoW and forcing a full shutdown, plus the Classic roadmap and all the wait for BlizzCon, it really does feel like they're vacuuming up the space.
Yes.
So they can
Not only did they force a shutdown upon Turtle WoW, they actually seized their code back, which means they intentionally wanted to take Turtle WoW assets and absorb them into their own game. Most likely because they are in fact working on a Classic Plus, which by this point I think it's like 99% confirmed even by the developers themselves. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have to wait and see how this all turns out. Because if they did take Turtle WoW assets and they just released Turtle WoW again as an official server, it's going to be good. People are going to play it. But eventually, Blizzard would have to do something to expand upon that. And this is the most contentious point.
can sell their own version of the very thing the community already built. So, let's start with what just happened, then talk about why Classic Plus is probably inevitable, and why Blizzard's leadership, HR culture, and monetization track record make me think it will follow the same depressing arc we've already lived through twice. First, Turtle WoW. Turtle WoW was one of the biggest and most beloved vanilla private servers,
It
running
was so
since
good.
around 2018 with custom content, its own fan-made expansion-style patches, and a strong community of players who wanted a more exploratory, slower, classic-style experience. In early 2026, Blizzard won an injunction ordering Turtle WoW to cease and desist all development and operation of private and modded servers. Shortly after that ruling, the team behind Turtle WoW announced a complete shutdown, servers winding down in 2026, sites and socials closing later in the year, and everything
Which reinforced my position even further, because I remember whenever it came out, like the announcement that Blizzard actually is going after Turtle WoW, they immediately said that they were here to stay. Now, after a few talks with Blizzard, they capitulated, and they said, okay, Turtle WoW is shutting down. Now, it makes one wonder, why would they say one thing, and after like 2 months, fold? I think that Blizzard will pay Turtle WoW developers for their assets back. I think they would pay them for the code. I don't think they would take Turtle WoW team because they're based in Russia or something like that, but I do think that they are indeed going to take Turtle WoW code. I do really think that.
being pushed to the final patch.
They reached
so
some
people
sort of
can
an
see
agreement.
the last raids before the lights go out. Coverage around the shutdown has already pointed out that this looks a lot like the pattern we saw before original WoW Classic launched in 2019.
It's theirs. Why would they pay for it? Because Turtle WoW are pirates. And by the way, I'm gonna make this. I have to make this like disclaimer every time I talk about Turtle WoW. I will never advocate for like piracy. What Turtle WoW did was wrong. Okay, they created a phenomenal game, better than Blizzard ever could. 100%. It's still piracy. Okay. Now you're asking why Blizzard would pay them because Turtle WoW doesn't have to give them their code. They are beyond their jurisdiction. So Blizzard need to give them some sort of an incentive to get Turtle WoW code, as far as I understand it. I may be wrong about this. Like, don't take my word as like the gospel. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? But as far as I see things, that's how it should work. Because obviously Blizzard didn't have any reach to Turtle WoW. Nothing. The way they smoked Turtle WoW out is by creating a ring of fire around them. They basically told every company that was in, their jurisdiction to stop working with Turtle WoW. So that means Discord, PayPal, etc. And essentially they just smoked them out this way. Now, direct content with Turtle WoW had to come to an agreement. So I'm assuming they offered him some money, and that's pretty much it. I might be wrong about that, but again, it just seems like the most likely thing to have happened, right? Because Turtle WoW did act in good faith with Blizzard. They did want this thing to happen. That's why they egged them so much, and that's why they boasted great numbers, and kind of did a little bit of a trolling on the Twitter, as one would say. And yeah, I think they did it on purpose. I think that Turtle WoW acted like the villain from Code Geass. They wanted to die. They wanted to die so we can enjoy true Classic Plus experience on the official servers. Let's see. But I hope they hired them. Never been in that server, but it sounded good though. So hopefully Classic Plus will take it into him. Yeah, I agree. 100%. The incentive is that they drop the lawsuits and they hand over the files for it. I don't think they care about the lawsuit. They are beyond jurisdiction. Again, I might be wrong about that. It's just like my opinion.
Blizzard cracking down on big private servers right before unveiling its own official version. Some articles and community commentary explicitly frame this as Blizzard clearing the field ahead of a rumored Classic Plus style project. So, on one side, you have Blizzard legally wiping out a fan-made Classic Plus experience. On the other, you have the official Classic roadmap and a giant question mark about what comes after the Anniversary and Mob Classic phases. Now, to be clear, Blizzard has not
Well, it ain't Warlords of Draenor Classic, you can be sure of that, sir. Nobody wants Garrison again. Nobody.
Walked out on stage and said, "Classic Plus launches on X date, enjoy."
Chris is bald
but
too now.
The roadmap and
it's
the
crazy.
way the
I'm
developers
next.
talk about the future make it very obvious they're planning something beyond just rerunning the old expansions forever. In the early 2026 State of Azeroth style presentations and roadmap.
By the way, in case y'all wanted to know what caused World of Warcraft to suck balls, this is it. This is literally it. Wine Mom acting as the current VP. Yes, this is the one who, instead of fixing the game, is actually legitimizing the Dark Spear troll Rainbow Dash cringe thing. Okay? Which, again, it was a community event, so good on you. I do not care, but why make it official? Why allocating resources into that instead of actually making the game good again? It's so weird. Instead, you demasculinize orcs. Why? Why would you do that to my favorite race?
Breakdowns, Blizzard has outlined a full year of content for Burning Crusade Anniversary and Mists of Pandaria Classic, including major raids and endgame beats. But stop short of confirming what comes after that. Creators breaking down the roadmap keep circling the same point. There's a suspicious silence around post-Mob Classic, and a lot of speculation that the next big Classic project will be announced at BlizzCon 2026. Commentators have even framed it directly, and the anniversary phases reveal Classic Plus at BlizzCon as a long-term parallel version of WoW that carries the vanilla spirit forward with new content. Combine that with the timing of the Turtle WoW shutdown and the broader crackdown on private servers, and it's not exactly galaxy brain to assume Blizzard wants to be the only place you can get an evolving vanilla style experience. So yeah, Classic Plus or something very close to it is probably coming, and honestly, that part is exciting. The idea of new high-effort content in the vanilla rule set is something the community has been dreaming about for a decade. Let's talk patterns. Retail WoW launched in 2004 as a subscription MMO with no cash shop, no services, no cosmetics. You couldn't earn in-game. Over time, we got paid
good old
character
days.
services, mounts, pets, boosts, and eventually the WoW token in 2015, letting players buy.
Man, where's Asmongold when you need him? He would have definitely poured salt over his head if he saw the current state of World of Warcraft. Only OGs remember the real videos, though.
Buy gold legally through the in-game shop.
We
When
need
WoW
him.
Classic launched in 2019, a lot of people saw it as an escape from that monetization creep. A return to a world before the shop and the token, where the game was the product, not the cash shop. But again, slowly, the line moved. Character boosts showed up. Bundled passes like the Dark Portal Pass for Burning Crusade Classic
That was
arrived.
so
And
awful. Guys, do you remember the story with that? I don't know if y'all remember. I was there when TBC re-released for the first time, if you can imagine. So, basically, Asmongold, I don't know if it was by accident, I can't really remember. He accidentally, maybe, started a movement that caused people to slash spit on people who purchased the TBC mount. Now, you know what Blizzard immediately did in response? They disabled the slash spit emote. And it is still disabled to this very day.
Eventually, the WoW token itself was added to Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Since then, creators covering Classic have openly speculated
It was a new
that we'll
feature.
eventually see a token in every version of the game. Retail, Wrath, Anniversary, future Classic projects. Because it's simply too profitable for Blizzard and now Microsoft to ignore. So, if you zoom out, the pattern is brutally simple. Launch a version of the game with minimal monetization. Prove it's successful and build a player base. Once people are invested, start introducing optional monetization, boosts, cosmetics, passes. Normalize that, then move to the WoW token and more aggressive revenue systems. Why
the
would
whales.
Classic Plus be any different? Even if the actual Classic Plus dev team is full of
Because I believe in the good heart of Blizzard. Blizzard at heart is uncorrupted. It is still good. We only need to give them more money, and they will show us the way. I'm certain of it. Guys, why are people coming to my house with some strange jacket?
passion, old school WoW nerds, or even ex-Turtle WoW team members who genuinely want to build a love letter to vanilla. They do not control the long-term fate of the game.
Yikes.
The people who control that are higher up. The executives setting revenue targets, the HR and management culture that decide what's acceptable risk, and now corporate parent Microslop that wants its gaming division to grow revenue and monetize engagement more aggressively. If you look at Blizzard's past behavior with retail and Classic, it's clear that once a version has a stable audience, someone somewhere in the org will ask the same question. How do we get more revenue out of these players without increasing dev costs too much? That's when you start seeing monetized cosmetic tracks, and so on, sometimes with reassurance of
course.
no token.
Because every single game nowadays tries to be Fortnite. I think Fortnite, as good as a game as it was, it created such a huge problem because now literally every single company is trying to make a live service game. And Blizzard is trying to do it with WoW as well. That did not used to be the case, if you remember. If you played back in the day, right? Or if you just played a classic version, you know that you could have played World of Warcraft, did some raiding, achieved a certain goal that you set for yourself, and disable your sub. But again, Blizzard doesn't want that. They want you to be on the precipice of disabling your sub, and then they just do something flashy and pull you in again. It is so unfortunate, but it actually works. Now, unfortunately for them, or maybe fortunately, I'm not really sure, It doesn't work long term, but again, Blizzard View has become so myopic, they cannot do anything beyond their next quarterly update. So now we're being left with this garbage game that is essentially Diablo structured when you don't give a Diablo experience. It's an MMORPG. You can't really do something that other game types has done and implement it into every game. It doesn't work that way. It's like trying to turn every game into battle royale. We know other people have tried it. We know Hi-Res Studios tried it with how do you call it? With Paladins. Like nothing like that works ever. It honestly just worked for Fortnite because they already had all the assets and they haven't released their original game yet, and they kind of just wanted to try it out. And they actually did something new and re-innovated on the genre, so that was, kind of ended up paying off to them. But it's really one in a million. When every company does that, it's never going to fly.
For now. So, even if Classic Plus launches pure, no token, no cosmetic shop, no paid boosts, that corporate gravity is still there. The people who greenlight projects don't care that you want a pristine 2004 style MMO. They care that the X million players times Y dollars per month looks good on a slide deck. Let me paint the most likely scenario based on...
Bro, that's crazy. Look at the... By the way, sorry for pausing constantly. I have so much to say. It's truly such a great video. Look at the old Asmon video. Man, it certainly brings up memories. That's crazy you planted there, Barbuck. That's great. You should have made it bigger, so people like me can reminisce and lose some hair follicles. So shame on you.
How Blizzard has handled this before. Year 1 to 2, the honeymoon. Classic Plus launches as the return to the spirit of vanilla with new content. The marketing leans hard into nostalgia. No token, respecting the world. Maybe even some nods to turtle-style features like slower leveling, exploration, focused content, or new raids that would feel like they could have existed in 2006. It's probably genuinely good. The devs are excited, the content is fresh, and the community is hyped. Year 2 to 3. Just a few services. Once the population stabilizes, you start seeing small monetization steps. Name changes, server transfers, maybe a paid boost to help your friends catch up, or a cosmetic mount tied to a...
To this day, it's still so crazy to me that you would have a level boost inside of an MMORPG. It quite literally defeats the purpose. It's like giving items for cash shop, items in the cash shop in PoE. It's the dumbest thing you can imagine. Like, why would you do that? There's no point playing the game otherwise. But again, that's why Blizzard intentionally made the leveling such a living nightmare to go through, and all the fun parts are at the end game. It's by design.
A bundle that also includes game time. Everything is framed as quality of life. Optional. No impact on gameplay. Exactly like we heard in retail. After that, the token question. This is the final boss. We already watched it happen in retail and then again in Wrath Classic, and now we are seeing token-related files and UI hooks crop up across different classic builds. The logic is always the same. Bots are the problem. Gold selling is rampant. We need a safe Blizzard-approved alternative. And that's how you pitch the token, as an anti-bot, anti-RMT solution.
Absolutely.
Also turning your economy.
Hey, if you can beat them, join them! Blizzard is truly a revolutionary company. I love that. They're not a reprehensible company that should be admonished, rebuked, and repudiated at every single turn. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I have no idea why you guys are thinking that. Blizzard, come on. Well done. What a great fix. Instead of doing the Turtle WoW solution of actually putting a GM on your server that bans bots, you just join them. Mad respect. You know what? The hustle is commendable.
Me into a direct extension of the store. So no, I don't think Classic Plus will instantly launch as a monetization hellscape. I think it will be good, maybe very good.
In old school RuneScape, people prefer to buy gold instead of tokens.
In place,
that's base.
With the same incentives, it will eventually be pushed down the same hill. Not to mention the cultural aspect, and what kind of devs are working at Blizzard these days. None of this means
The Council
you
of
shouldn't
Karens
play
mentioned.
Classic Plus if and when it comes out. Honestly, I'll probably play it too. I want to explore new raids and zones built on the old vanilla rule set. I couldn't with Turtle WoW because the moment I found out about the server, I could already see the Grim Reaper having its hand on the turtle's shoulder. This turtle wasn't making it to the water. I want to see what Blizzard could do if they embrace that era instead of just remastering expansions in order. But I think we have to go into it with clear eyes. Blizzard has already shown us how they treat successful products. Once they prove a concept works and has a stable audience, they slowly but surely monetize every corner of it. They've already shown us they're willing to legally crush fan-made alternatives like Turtle WoW instead of partnering with them or licensing their ideas into an official product. And the broader corp.
Of course, because Blizzard idea is not to be better than their opponent, it's just to crush them. That's how they do things nowadays. Instead of looking at competition and be like, oh wow, that's really good and healthy for me, I can do better than that, they just decide to do lawsuits. But to be fair, every single major, big company is doing it nowadays. I think the only good thing going for Blizzard right now is competition from Marvel Rivals and Path of Exile. Because Diablo was garbage and then PoE 2 came out and absolutely blew them out of the water. So they made Diablo good again. And then Overwatch was in a rut for years. Overwatch 2, I must mention. And after Marvel Rivals literally siphoned the last of their, waifus, or maybe whales that, pretend to be waifus, while being, disgusting nerds in their mother basement. But, I wouldn't judge them because I'm one of them. I did spend quite a lot of money on Marvel Rivals back in the day, I have to admit. So, I digress, but they made the game better. They actually retracted the Overwatch 2 thing and made Overwatch great. Instead of getting one hero per year, they got 5 in the same patch. It was crazy. And it all because of Marvel Rivals. Everything. The major problem with World of Warcraft is no competition. Because nobody's brave enough to make an MMO, and nobody's brave enough to try and reinvent the genre. Nobody wants to do something new, and whenever you try to compete with World of Warcraft, you will die. Because World of Warcraft had already established itself within the community, and it's really hard to grab the WoW lovers from that game. So it's just going to be very difficult. The only real contender we may see in the farthest future is Riot Games, like Riot Games MMO, which is still nameless, like you don't know anything about it.
The environment is not moving towards less monetization anytime soon. This is not Valve we're talking about, who officially approve fan projects. So, my stance is, be excited for the game, not the company. Assume monetization creep will happen eventually, if not right out of the gate. Enjoy the early years, but don't get emotionally attached to Classic Plus staying pure forever. If we keep expectations low, we avoid getting blindsided when the first optional shop bundles and convenience services inevitably show up. The saddest part of it all is that the community already showed what a healthy version of Classic Plus could look like. Turtle, WoW and similar projects leaned into slower leveling, exploration, new quest hubs and custom raids while still feeling like they belonged in the vanilla era. People weren't begging for a battle pass or a token. They were begging for more world content that respects the original lore, new raid tiers that slot into the existing progression, genuinely risky class changes that keep the vanilla fantasy but fix some of the dead specs. So,
facts.
What do we do
Absolute
with all
facts.
of this? Here's how I'm personally planning to approach Classic Plus, and maybe it will help frame your own expectations. Treat it like Game of Thrones. Enjoy the early seasons while they're good, and just assume it's going to shit. Get your value up front. If the first couple of years are fun, raid, level, do whatever you wanna do, make all your memories before the monetization creep kicks in. Call them out.
agree.
Simple as that. If they introduce anything,
100%.
make videos, call them out, whatever. Stop playing if you have to, or if it's no longer fun, obviously. Remember, Blizzard is not your friend. The devs might be cool, passionate people. The corporate structure above them is not. Its job is to turn your time into revenue. If we go into Classic Plus with that mindset, we can still
Money
have
talks.
fun without setting ourselves up for the same heartbreak and outrage cycle we've already been through with retail and Classic. So yeah, Blizzard will probably announce Classic Plus in the next year or two, and on day one it might actually be amazing. But if the same management, the same higher-ups, and the same revenue goals are calling the shots, I don't see any universe where it doesn't slowly slide down the exact same slope as retail and Classic before it. Enjoy it! Absolutely. Just don't build your hope on the idea that this time somehow Blizzard is going to resist the shop, the token, the money. Surely now.
Blizzard would literally be fishing. They would dangle their fishing rod in front of you and they were like, hey, you want that? Look at that. It's Classic Plus. It's shiny! And then you're gonna bite the bait and oh boy, you're bound to be hooked.
With Classic Plus being announced, that means they're listening. We will no longer have to worry about being just cash cows to them. No, that's absurd. Look at retail. Look how good that is doing when it comes to culture and community and shops and money milking, right, guys? Anyway, let me know in the comments. Are you still hyped for Classic Plus after the Turtle WoW shutdown? Or did that kill your trust completely? If it wasn't already. What's your...
It didn't kill the trust, it just made us, I think most of us think, that now Blizzard needs to do better. Because Turtle WoW, again, it was free. So nobody had high expectations. When Blizzard is going to make Classic Plus, they own the IP. And on top of that, you know they're gonna charge you a subscription fee. So they have a responsibility to make it a superior product. And not like, just... little bit better, right? No, they have to make it grand. I'm expecting some insane Classic Plus experience. Now, am I bound to, have my expectation, bite me in the ass? 100%. Because no way Blizzard is giving us a good Classic Plus experience. No way. But even if they just would re-release Turtle WoW, I think that's fine. Like you said, Barbrock, I am going to enjoy the early days of it, and then I'm gonna, end up forgetting. Well, not forgetting, I'm gonna create a lot of fond memories, probably with you guys, I'm gonna play it on stream. But at the end of the day, it'll just become bad, because Blizzard greed would taint the last hope we had for a great Classic Plus experience.
Your personal hotline, the moment you uninstall. Is it a token, a battle pass, paid boosts, something else? If you have enjoyed this video and you wish to see more, subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you watched this far.
Great video, Barbara. Oh, well, let's see. You added something else here? You probably added a
video announcement.
Dude! Come on. Man, come on. What is that? Are you kidding me? We talked about this. How can you monetize this early? I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle. In all honesty, good job, Barbuk. It was another banger. You made such a fantastic video. I'm more than delighted to feature it on my very stream. And of course, I'm going to be uploading to YouTube. Guys, I'm gonna link you guys so you can give Barbuk some love. Give him a like. Give him a sub. This man is a true talent when it comes to World of Warcraft and, all things of the sort. Obviously, I'm going to leave a link in the description, guys. Whoever watches this on YouTube, make sure to check it instead. But just to summarize, absolutely, every single thing you said is pure facts. But I think most people would just enjoy the ride, right? They would be there for the early days. They would create fun memories. And when Blizzard greed is too much to handle, they'll quit. And the cycle will repeat anew, because Blizzard would dangle another new shiny bait in front of you. And we're gonna be in for it. Hook, line, and sinker.